Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett of Texas. She joins us right now. Congresswoman Crockett, thank you so very much. Listen, we know what they're doing. We saw this movie before. They want to throw so many things at one time and have people just scatterbrained, disillusioned, but I'm not falling for the okie doke. What this is about, Congresswoman, is they want to attack the money source. They do not want to see black advancement. They want to go after the money, and they're not satisfied with white women getting 78% of the federal NWBE contracts. They want 100%. And those white women are silent. And so folk need to understand, and frankly, Democrats need to understand they got to be a hell of a lot more aggressive in understanding the game being played here.
Yeah, so for me, it is overwhelming for so many people. He operates in chaos and only chaos and confusion. And he consistently hides some of the really big things in the chaos, right? So I appreciate that you're talking about the executive order as it relates to civil rights. And so I think it is important for people to understand that Republicans and Democrats alike, including Donald Trump, consistently signed off on this EO. And this time, he decided that he was going to rescind it, right? And so when people are like, oh, well, what is it about immigration? And, oh, what is this DEI thing? And, oh, what is this going on over here? Here's the reality. It is all rooted in white supremacy. And that's what people need to understand. The white supremacy agenda is alive and well. And every single one of these attacks, they are rooted in white supremacy. So unless you are a white man, I don't really know what place you have in this agenda that we see coming out. And by keeping us divided, by having those that understand the importance of affirmative action, those that understand the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion over here fighting this fight, and then those that are so concerned about their family members and whether or not they're going to be deported, they're over here in this other fight. Instead of uniting us, we need to understand that it's not an attack on just one group. It's an attack on all of us, and it is all rooted in white supremacy. Even this random whitewashing of Jesus and this narrative around Christianity. It is the white supremacist narrative of Christianity, the same one that kept black folk enslaved.
Well, here's a perfect example. I'm going to pull this up for you. Today, I was perusing social media, and people need to understand you got to be careful with, because it can get real overwhelming. So this tweet here came up from this Geiger Capital, and he tweets, affirmative action is systemic racism. Not my opinion, look at the data. So he shows Harvard applicants, all in the top academic, had vastly different chances of admission depending on their race. And so he puts this here, okay? So this is the first one that he puts. And so Hugh Hewitt, conservative radio show host, retweeted this, and I saw it. And so I, of course, responded this way. Hey, Geiger Capital and Hugh Hewitt, now do legacy. Please tell me the race and gender of Harvard students admitted due to legacy. White people never want to call out legacy. I'll wait. And of course, Congresswoman, they never responded, because what they know for a fact is that if you put on legacy, that's absolutely white people. And so they want to label everything else, oh, this about merit. But legacy ain't merit. It's a whole bunch of grossly unqualified white folks getting into colleges and universities because their parents and grandparents went there. And that's the game they love to play.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. When they try to play this game, I just remind them of the people that Trump has decided should be in his cabinet. They are all unqualified. Let me tell you something. I can find somebody of every color, of every sex, of every gender, of everything that is better qualified than every single one of his nominees. I absolutely can. Because right now, what we see playing out, and the reason that we needed affirmative action is because it's always been this cronyism. It's been the good old boy system. And it was about making sure not that you were given a hand-me-out, but instead of you saying the pool of people that I'm looking at, they are only white men. Instead, I'm going to look at everybody. And I'm going to try to make sure that we have everybody here. Y'all can talk about admissions all you want to, but when it came down to getting grads such as Barack Obama, He may have been admitted because of affirmative action, but I can tell you for sure that he didn't somehow become the president of the United States as the only black person to hold that seat because of affirmative action. He became president because he had a work ethic about him. And back then, we actually cared about ethics in some way. So he had one wife. He had one woman that he had children with. He had no criminal record. That is what we required. And he also was intelligent. Yes, it may have been affirmative action that got him there, but it wasn't affirmative action that was going to keep him there. So whether or not we get a chance is all it's about, is making sure that you will say. It's basically like I've been talking about, we need to take up the ban the bots legislation, which is legislation that I filed on the state level. Well, considering the fact that we have a 34-count convicted felon that is sitting in the White House, arguably the most prestigious job that you can have in this country, and he just happens to be a felon. I don't know why somebody can't get a job at the Walmart because we refuse to ban the bots on the application. That's honestly what it is. What it is literally saying, I am going to consider you even if this is your record. What it is saying, I'm going to consider you even if you aren't a man. I'm going to consider you even if you don't happen to be white. That is all it is. It's opening up the consideration and giving us a chance. But at the end of the day, just like any other black person will tell you in this country, we have always had to work 10 times harder. So just because they gave us a chance, let me tell you, it is so much more difficult for us to say.
Last question for you. I know you have lots of other things to do. It's been already a very long day. When it comes to Democrats, and listen, you tried to become chair of the Democratic Policy and Communications, whatever the title of that committee is, and I can tell you, here we are almost at the end of January, and look, very limited opportunities that we've heard from Democratic groups, DNC, from House, Senate, or whatever. And I'm just trying to understand, after the shellacking that took place in November, after we saw what happened, how Republicans utilize independent media, streaming shows, things along those lines, are Democratic leaders going to wake up and realize this is a communications war and paper press releases ain't gonna cut it?
I don't know. all I can tell you is thank you for being my constituent. I had the best numbers in the entire state of any challenged Democrat or Republican seeking re-election because I believe in communication. And the way that I do communication is completely different. And I can tell you that the old school way of thinking, and I won't name any names, but I definitely remember someone who's actually gone on who talked to me and said, well, there's no way you can do all of that media and be effective. And I'm like, I can kind of walk and chew gum. Like, I can do both, right? There is a sentiment, seemingly from old school Democrats, that you kind of keep your head down and you just do the work. And I do want to be clear. We absolutely need to do the work. But if no one knows what you've done, really, what was the point? Right? And so that's where I see it differently. And I try to explain to people, it's kind of like a teacher. When teachers walk into a classroom, they should understand that people will be better learners in different ways. Some people are auditory, some people are visual, some people are going to be hands-on. And so what does that mean? It still translates even when these children become adults, that some people just take their information in different ways. And so we need to know that they take them in different spaces and in different forms. And we need to make sure that we're prioritizing all of them. And right now is when we should be communicating a lot. You shouldn't wait till election time. I mean, you know, we all know, we all seen what I call the Chitlin circuit, right? When it's election time and everybody comes to the black church. Like, why can't you come when it's not election time, right? Like, come tell us what you've been doing so that we know, and literally you stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And right now, I feel as if I really am about to experience what Shirley Chisholm went through and what Barbara Jordan went through and what so many others who were first went through as they were trying to break through the noise, but they were doing it in a time in which people at least had some kind of ethics about them. Ethics is out the window. Right versus wrong is gone.
Yep.
Like, it's all out the window. And so if we don't tell our stories, then somebody else is going to co-opt those stories and is going to tell them for us. And we will be back here in 4 years or in 2 years or whenever talking about we don't understand why we lost again.
Yep. I keep saying that Democrats are playing a political game that no longer exists. And so they want to play by a set of rules, and Republicans are like, what rules? We're just going to create whatever we want to do, and y'all can suck it up. Congresswoman Crockett, keep swinging. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks a bunch. Support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. You heard what we just talked about there. Folks, I can't reiterate this enough. Listen to me clearly. I cannot reiterate this enough. When you've got technology companies running scared, when you've got legacy media not doing their job, when you've got Black-owned media that is disintegrated, now is more than ever for us to have independent media that cares about the truth, that is willing to say what needs to be said. So when you support Roland Martin Unfiltered, this show, when you support the Black Star Network, you're not just supporting me, you're supporting the other shows. Our goal is to add 2 more shows this year. We want additional shows. We want more weekly and daily shows because we want to be able to speak truth to power. We want to be able to say what is necessary where other people are scared. And when you are scared, when you're looking over your shoulder, oh my God, that advertising contract is not going to come in. Well, guess what? A lot of these major ad agencies, they're not even supporting us anyway. In 6 years of doing this show, Group M hasn't done a damn thing with us. Publicis hasn't done anything with us. You've got Horizon, you've got all of these folks, they haven't done jack. And so we are calling it like we see it, and we're speaking truth. And unlike some of these other so-called progressives and people who believe in truth, I'm not running around trying to kiss MAGA ass and kiss Trump's ass. I won't be going to Mar-a-Lago, not for a damn thing. And so this is about us being able to speak truth. So when you support this show and this network with your resources, that is exactly what is happening, because we are trying to build something that is bigger and broader, and actually it has the courage to say what needs to be said, even when it makes other folk uncomfortable. If you want to contribute giving Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. This is it right here. And if you are listening, simply go to blackstarnetwork.com to check it out. Also, if you want to see your check and money order, some of y'all old school, we understand that. See your check and money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 2003 7-0196. PayPal, R. Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. And again, folks, we've got some 4 million social media followers. If only 20,000 of our fans contribute at least $50 each, which comes out to $4.19 a month, 13 cents a day, that's $1 million that allows us to be able to continue to build, to add these shows and do the work that's required. So your support is needed. So please join our Bring the Funk fan club today. If you've not already joined, if you have given to us in the past, please renew your commitment, because it's important that we support Black-owned media, because Black-owned media matters.